Hi, I'm Ricky, and this is my story. Growing up, I grew up in church every Sunday, every Wednesday, that whole thing. I learned faith at a really early age, through some crazy circumstances that no 5 or 6 year old should ever go through. But my mom always encouraged me to pray and just pray and just look for what God's doing. And God really started pulling through in a lot of weird circumstances at a young age. And so I always grew up knowing who God was and knowing that He could do whatever and within His will. And but I never really focused on Him. I went to youth group every week. I was pretty much the only person in my youth group, so I didn't have that accountability surrounding me in my teenage years. And then finally, when I was about 15, I went to a youth conference, and the night still comes to me every time. Here I am this whole time living my life, knowing who God was, but never really following Him, thinking I know what Christianity was, thinking I knew who God was. And I'm worshiping that night, and for the first time ever, I just gave it all up to God. And I remember the song Breathe being sung, and I just remember the words, "I'm desperate for you," being played. And I remember for the first time, I understood what that meant. I understood that I was desperate for God, and without God, I was nothing. And that night, I truly gave my life to God and gave everything up. He broke me that night. And, there's been a lot of challenges since that night, but God's used me in ways I never thought I could be used. I was a leader in a Bible studies in high school. I was the Christian kid in school. That was always fun, growing up in a small high school. It always felt like people were watching me. Every move I made, everything I did, it always felt like they were waiting for me to screw up. And it was difficult, but I prayed to God every night to just give me strength to be a witness. And it was difficult having people feel like they were watching your every move, but I got through it. And God brought me here to Oxford, to the Bridge. He's been using me to do all kinds of stuff. I'm part of the worship team, and just allowing me to be able to use my gifts to be able to help others worship. It's been great. And leading Bible studies, and just sharing people, sharing love, God's love with people has been awesome. Going across the world and sharing it with people in China, just being able to do that, it's what it's all about, showing love and really trying to build relationships and be a family in a church. And I didn't understand that until I came to college, until I came to the Bridge. Church was just something I went to. I studied, I worshiped God every Sunday, got to know a few people on Wednesday, but I never got pushed. And I came to college, and my relationship with God got pushed. I got pushed to know who He was and what He was to me. And I can honestly sit here and say today that God is everything to me. He's everything that I just hope for, and everything I pray to. He's everything. And without Him, I would be nothing. Without Him, I would have been a 15-year-old kid depressed because I was searching for acceptance of the world. Instead, now I have acceptance through my Father, my Daddy, God. And I would be nowhere without that. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to share that love that He showed me, to show that we should be desperate for Him, to be able to share that with other people. And that's what it's all about. That's who I am.